Alright, so for this video I'm going to keep working on game 3 from PrepTest 11, and I've dealt with the initial setup, just sort of the blurb and the first two rules, and now I'm going to do the conditional rules at the end. So these are rules that only apply if the sufficient condition is met. So rule 3 says if F is selected, then Q must be selected. Okay, so F is the sufficient condition. Knowing that F is in is sufficient to know that Q must be in. All right, and then we always create the contrapositive, so we do that by flipping and negating. Okay, rule 4, if G, then K, G, then K, and the contrapositive. Rule 5, if either J or M is selected, the other must also be selected. So if J is selected, then M is selected, and if M is selected, then J is selected. Okay, and for the contrapositive, we can flip and negate, and this is what's called a biconditional. So usually the arrow only goes one way, but in this case, knowing that J is in is sufficient to know M is in, and knowing that M is in is sufficient to know that J is in. So that doesn't work the same way with these other rules, right? So if I know that K is in, I don't necessarily know G is also in. If I know Q is in, I don't necessarily know that F is in, right? So we always want to follow the direction of the arrow. But in this case, the arrow goes both ways, and that's a biconditional. Right, last rule, M and P cannot both be selected. So if M is selected, P is not. If P is selected, M is not. All right, great. So that's the full setup for this game, and like I said, this is a bit of a more challenging game, so not really for beginners, but it covers quite a few of the foundational skills that you would want to be learning early on. So you would want to be learning about subsets, you'd want to be learning about how to create a setup for an in and out game, and you'd want to be learning about the distribution options. So all of those things I covered in the previous video. And then also, early on, you're going to want to tackle conditional reasoning and conditional rules, because that's certainly a foundational skill that you need to have. Interpreting those and creating contrapositives, and just ensuring that you've got all of that figured out before things get more complicated. Okay, again, let me know if you have any questions, and happy studying.